Harem is a genre of anime where there is a possibility of a polygamous romantic relationship. This is a fairly popular anime genre, as it's quite entertaining to watch and acts as a sort of sexy diversion when one needs to take a break from the serious stuff. So welcome back to Animeology, and today we will show you the top 10 harem anime that you need to watch. Before we begin, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below for more anime top 10s, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting off our list at number 10, Monster Musume. Everyday life with monster girls. The story of this anime starts when the government has made the existence of monster people public. An interspecies cultural exchange act has been passed with other species to show them kindness and respect. These species will live with a human host as part of an exchange program. Karusu Kimihito suddenly finds himself living with a lamia named Mia, accidentally delivered to his house by interspecies exchange coordinator Agent Smith. After that, the list of other species only grows who end up living with him. Monster Musume provides a fun take on harem anime thanks to its host of different, exotic monster girls spanning all the popular monster types you'd find throughout any classic JRPG. But the best parts of Musume stem from the world building done to sell the monster girls as a natural part of this fantasy world. It's interesting hearing about all the little details that accompany accommodating this sudden appearance of monster girls around the world, and the struggle of integrating them into society. Moving on to number 9, They Are My Noble Masters. Ren and his older sister Mihato run away from their abusive father, setting foot in the big city and determined to make it through together. Finding a job isn't easy though, but things look up when Ren helps a girl who faints from the summer heat. She appears to be a member of a very rich family, and they just happen to be looking for a new butler and a maid. So before they fully realize it, Ren and Mihato are hired by the Kwanji family, consisting of the 3 quirky sisters, Shinra, a classical conductor, Miyu, a genius inventor, and Yume, a schoolgirl and the youngest. The staff they employ are perhaps even crazier than the bosses, if that's in any way possible, and Ren finds his days filled with dealing with the hijinks of his demanding masters, his zany colleagues, and his jealous sister, not to mention all the people that walk in and out of the mansion to stir things up even more. They Are My Noble Masters is a typical harem anime, with a hapless teenage boy surrounded by beautiful women who all want a share of his attention. Unlike most other anime in the same vein, Ren is not quite the innocent or stupid protagonist, although he still gets beaten up on a regular basis when unwillingly, or willingly, seeing one of the female characters in various states of undress. Up next at number 8, Ore Shura. Aita Kido enters high school, intending to graduate with marks high enough that he can earn a scholarship to medical school. With this goal in mind, and the fact that his parents divorced, found other lovers, and left him in the care of a relative, he shuns anything to do with romance or love. One day, the school beauty, Matsutsu Natsukawa, invites him to walk home with her, but he refuses. After several days, he gives in and walks home with her. It turns out that Matsutsu is tired of being the center of attention and receiving confessions on a nearly everyday basis, so she suggests that she and Aita become a fake couple. Although Aita tries to refuse, Matsutsu blackmails him into becoming her boyfriend in name only. News of the new couple rapidly spreads throughout the school, and Aita's childhood friend, Shiwa Harusaki, who likes him, begins to vie with Matsutsu for Aita's affections. Number 7. Outbreak Company. Outbreak Company is one of the many good harem anime that go unnoticed, unfortunately. It focuses on an otaku that is sent to another world by the Japanese government to promote Japanese, mainly otaku, culture. It is an interesting premise that has unforgettable characters. The story revolves around Shinichi Kano, a shut-in NEET and an otaku who gave up on going to school just because he was rejected by his childhood friend for the reason that he was an otaku. He kept himself isolated in his room watching anime 24/7. It wasn't long when he encountered a job request where they needed an expert otaku, and in order to join, they had to give some sort of otaku test. Shinji aced the test, which was amazing in its own way. He wasn't given any sort of info about this job they were hiring him for, but during his interview, he was kidnapped and sent to a fantasy world where different breeds of fantasy creatures existed, from elves to dwarves. Later, he came to know that he was sent to this world in order to spread Japanese culture, and for that the government is ready to provide him with all the necessities. Number 6. Seikano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. Seikano delivers a really great story in an original way. It tells the story of an aspiring doujin team led by an otaku who are trying to make a dating game. The anime follows a guy named Tomoya Aki who had a fated encounter one morning. He witnesses a girl on top of a hill holding onto her hair as the wind blows past her, making the cherry blossoms dance with it. Her white beret lands near Aki, and he was utterly mesmerized. He was so into it that now he wants to recreate it. He plans on making a VN with the girl as the main heroine. As he makes a proposal to enlist his members for the project, though, he discovers his heroine is actually a classmate of his. The fact that he never noticed her is a big problem, and he soon discovers this girl is a very plain character. Number 5. Haganai, I Don't Have Many Friends. Haganai is a great anime. I would totally recommend this to anybody who's looking for a good harem. It's a fun one to watch. This anime is about a boy named Hasegawa Kodaka, who has transferred to a new school and is having a hard time making friends. This is not helped by his naturally blonde hair, which he inherited from his mother, or by the fact that he always seems angry. The other students in school assume that his hair is bleached, and so they consider him a delinquent and avoid him as much as possible. The sad thing is that Kodaka is nothing like what they assume. He's actually the exact opposite of a delinquent. He's a very caring older brother to his little sister, and he's so nice to others that he'd reluctantly allow himself to help others even if he doesn't want to at first. If you want a show that doesn't have a lot of serious plot to it, but does have a lot of comedy, fan service, and romance in it, then you should check out Haganai. Number 3. Nisekoi, False Love. Raku Ichijo is the heir to the Yakuza family, but wants an ordinary life. As a child, Raku made a promise with his childhood lover, keeping a lock pendant as a keepsake while his lover took the key. In the hope of meeting his past love once again, Raku still carries the pendant. Now, years later, Raku is a high schooler living his life as ordinarily as he can. However, one day, it all changes when he meets Chitoge Kidasaki, a transfer student. Chitoge is the daughter of a mafia boss. Due to family affairs, Raku and Chitoge get forced into a relationship with each other. Now Raku and Chitoge must pretend as boyfriend and girlfriend to avoid a war between the gangs. Nisekoi is a very funny anime and also has quality animation. It's all around a good time. The characters are interesting, the story is great, and it's very enjoyable. Up next at number 2, The World God Only Knows. The World God Only Knows, a series that manages to satire the entire logic of the dating sim genre, and does so without making itself look like an idiot in the process. Even with the simplest story, The World God Only Knows is one of the funniest animes out there. Unlike other harem romantic anime where all girls are after just one boy, this particular anime doesn't really follow this universal rule. Moving on to the story, as the name indicates, it is kind of a mystery to try and understand girls, but at the same time, only the expert knows how to handle the problem. The basic idea is somewhat similar to this, but it has a twist of the supernatural with unusual ideas. Even though this anime is quite slow-paced in terms of story continuation, it is well maintained when it comes to each episode's story arc. And finally at number 1, Tenchi Muyo, War on Geminar. Kenshi Masaki is a 15-year-old boy who was kidnapped and unwillingly transferred to an alternate universe called Geminar. Upon his arrival in Geminar, a secret organization forced Kenshi into assassinating the gorgeous princess Lashara Earth 28. Kenshi fails to kill the princess and ends up being captured by her. Instead of imprisoning, Lashara admires Kenshi's skills and hires him as her new servant. From here's beginning Kenshi's new life as he attends the Holy Land, a super elite academy along with Lashara. Overall, I recommend it to anyone who enjoys anything involving the Tenchi Muyo OVA continuity. The overall storyline of this anime starts a bit stereotypical, but the development is excellent. Not to mention that the main character is an overall badass